Hey, this is the Swiss Gold Global Independent Business Owner Network Marketing Training number 108 on 3/9/15, March 9th, 2015. New op day. Did you know when you take out all the time that you spend sleeping and all the time that you spend commuting to work and all the time that you spend at work actually working or messing around, whatever you do at work, and all the time that you spend in your daily life just running around doing all those things that have to be done? This is the killer right here. All that stuff that has to be done: going to the bank, making food, brushing your teeth, hitting the grocery store, all that stuff. That at the end of the day, when you add it all up, you yourself, for you, probably have 1, maybe 2 hours to do the things that you like to do, and you probably spend them sitting in front of the idiot box. And even if you had more time than that, with the way things are in your life right now, would you even have the money to do something else besides sit in front of the boob tube? We have found a way to own your life with a home-based business system that is so simple that anybody can do it. It doesn't involve any selling whatsoever. And the best part is, it doesn't take very much of your time, which obviously you don't have very much of to begin with. But wouldn't you rather spend your 1 to 2 hours right now building something that can help you to buy back more of your time and have the money to enjoy that time with? We have that system. And where is my little thing? There we go. There I am. All right. Hey, just got to throw that out there. Something for you guys to think about. This is New Op Day, and we are getting into the Own Your Life Plan, Chapter 10. This is the training manual for the system that I just told you about. This is how you do it. We're working on napkin presentation number 9, and I'm going to let John say good morning, get his morning thought out of his head there, and lead us right into Chapter 9 if you like. John, go ahead.
Well, good day, Paul. Happy New Op Day. We are on number 108, which is awesome. That shows some stickability there, and we're willing to keep pushing forward and not giving up, nothing getting in our way, nothing stopping us. It's a New Op Day, my favorite day of the week, because it's the beginning of a whole new set of days where I can put some things into action, put some plans into place, get things moving, get things started, build momentum for the upcoming week, and I'm just flat out excited because it's a fresh start to a whole fresh new opportunity, which is why me and Paul have renamed today New Op Day. And because the word that's used traditionally for today has such a negative connotation with most people because it conjures up images of dread, and people start this day just waiting for the end of the week, and I want to switch people's minds from that. Me and Paul, or Paul and I should say, use proper English here. Paul and I want to get people motivated, feeling good, excited, and one of the ways we can do that is by changing the words that we use. And today is New Op Day, which is the day, as Paul mentioned, that we talk about this little system right here. This simple system that's so simple that anyone can do it. And it's called Own Your Life Plan, the 45-second presentation. And for those of you who don't know what the 45-second presentation is, that's what Paul just unleashed on us there in his monologue this morning, opening up this call. So, Paul, why don't you go ahead and kick us off? I'm running a minute or two behind this morning, so I want to get my notes out on Chapter 9 and give myself a minute or two to get prepared. So why don't you go ahead, sir, and kick us off?
Okay, well, as I said, a system that is so simple that anyone can do it, that I'm pretty much going to go right out of the book. Nobody says the system is something that you can't cheat, can't read right out of the book. It's just that easy. There's no rules here. there's nobody going to slap my palm or my knuckles with a ruler if I'm cheating right out of the book. So here you go. Chapter 9 or Chapter 10, I'm sorry, which is napkin presentation number 9, is all about motivation and attitude. Now, we've covered a lot of stuff in this book that has so far kind of been all about how to work with your people and all of that. Now this chapter is kind of about how to, keep them inspired and keep them moving forward and keep them wanting to work in the business. And so he talks about starting out with writing the word motivation at the top of the page or your napkin or your if you're doing this for a group, your flip chart, whatever. You write motivation here, you draw the 2 arrows, one up and one down. That's for the up motivation and the down motivation. And you label them, of course. And then on the other side, you have on the down motivation, you call that hot bath, and on the up motivation, you call that constant. The hot bath motivation basically is, ever been to a seminar? And, whether it's a 1-day or a 3-day or whatever, it's all about business and training and self-development or whatever it's all about. You go there, you're excited about it, you see it online, you see it wherever, and you sign up and you're like, oh, this is going to be great, and you go there and you have this fantastic time and you get all pumped up and you get all motivated, you get all inspired, and you get home and a week later, it's like you never went. That's the hot bath motivation, is just that, that giddy up that just gets into you and you gets you all excited, but it doesn't last. A hot bath, you pour a hot bath, what's going to happen? It's going to go cold, right? That's what the hot bath motivation is all about. It fades over time, and it's definitely necessary. You got to have this from time to time. But what you want to try to have is more of a constant motivation where people are, daily excited, at least at a certain level to get out there and do this business. John?
Absolutely. I love this analogy and this napkin presentation. I realize I said Chapter 9. We're actually on Chapter 10, which is napkin presentation.
I know, that's confusing me. I wish they would have come together.
You know what? All the napkin presentations are pretty much the number of the chapter -1, because the Chapter 1 is the introduction of what network marketing is. But Paul showed that little graph right there in the book, the hot bath down and the constant up. And, the whole idea about the hot bath is that when you draw water in a bathtub and it's hot and it's great, you get in and it's comfortable, what happens after about 15, 20 minutes is the water starts to get cold, cool down, and you want to get out of the bath, dried up, get some clothes on, or go get under a blanket. It's the same thing like going to a seminar. I've been to, dozens of seminars now at this point in my life, and I love the idea of the seminar. But it's like a hot bath, It's great while you're in it and while the water's still hot and you're feeling great, and while the weekend after you leave that event, you're feeling awesome, you're feeling motivated. But you know what the funny part is? Most people, I'd like to say present company not included in this bracket, but most people after attending a seminar do very little actually. Within 2-3 days of the seminar, they're right back in their same routine. All the notes that they took are sitting in a notebook, put aside with good intentions of I'll come back and I'll read these notes. But hey, you know what? Most people don't get back to those notes. Most people lose the momentum gained at seminar over that weekend. Now, the whole idea behind this constant up motivation is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, because I might be skipping a little bit ahead in the chapter here, but this napkin presentation pretty much shows it, is that there's a way in this network marketing model to build a constant motivation, and that's by getting motivation moving up through your downline to you. And as you build your organization and you get a couple people in place, you're building up momentum, you're building up motivation, you're getting a constant stream of motivation from the fact that I've now sponsored in someone in my organization, who sponsored someone in, who sponsored someone in, and when this begins to happen, it raises your degrees, so to speak. And there's another little napkin presentation here about a thermometer. And basically, this is your attitude, and everybody starts off at about 50 degrees when they get going in the business, but they can get cold real fast. But as you introduce people into the business, your temperature, your heat, your momentum, it starts to rise up. And as you help your people sponsoring in to find people, then you're adding degrees. You're adding degrees, and your thermostat is moving up. And as Paul said, you know what's great about it? We can cheat right out of the book. Even when we're sitting down with a prospect, if you want to sit down and break out this book and show them all the napkin presentations right here and explain this chapter, or better yet, just give your prospect the book, and if they're really interested in being in your organization and being part of network marketing, they'll read this book on their own without you even having to explain it to them. And when you sit down with them, they already need the book. You're having a sizzle session, and you guys are just sitting here going through this material, motivating yourself. But that's besides the point. But basically, the up motivation is about building your organization and having that constant motivation of having people coming in underneath you and raising your levels and raising your temperature.
Yeah, I think this very first part here, there it goes. I think this very first part here, what John just showed with the thermometer there, see how it's got 212 degrees at the top? That's the temperature that water boils. And then he's got this down here that's only at 50 degrees right here. What he's pointing out there is that you go sit down with someone, a lot of people that you talk to about your business, et cetera, and so on, they're going to have negative connotations about network marketing. They're going to have preconceived notions about, it being, a scam or whatever, this, that, and the other thing. They've tried that before. It doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. These people have pretty much a zero temperature when it comes to this. So when you go in talking to somebody, you yourself have to be at least at a 50-degree level right there of energy and excitement and motivation in order for you to not get drugged down by their negativity. So that's kind of one thing that it points out. And then the second thing that this little thermometer here points out is the fact that, 212 degrees, you want to get that water boiling. And he talks about letting somebody go that, letting somebody know that they are like the sun. And they bring people into the organization. And I'm skipping ahead too because, he talks about the constant attitude, like John said. And it builds from you bringing people in different ways. And this kind of gets a little confusing to me, but I get it. He says that, basically, here's you, and every time you sponsor somebody, they're worth 5 degrees right here, but every time they sponsor somebody, they're worth 10 degrees. So, your motivation level is getting hotter and hotter with the more people that you bring in. This is how you build that constant level by continually increasing your temperature, so to speak. I like the part where he talks about going to the person that you sponsored. Let's say you sponsored in Sue, right? And you go to Sue and you say, hey, Sue, you're like the sun, okay? And the person you sponsor in is like a pot of water. And you sit that pot of water out in the middle of the desert, hottest place, Mojave Desert or wherever the hottest desert is, Death Valley, whatever you want, hottest desert on the planet, and you sit that pot of water in the sun. When's it going to boil? Never. Because it's got to reach 212 degrees, and if it reaches 212 degrees, we're all going to boil. We're all going to be dead. So that's a good thing. But then as you sponsor people, you start getting, you call them like, they're like burners. You get somebody that's very interested, that's like lighting a burner underneath that pot. Instead of it just sitting there in the desert, it's like lighting a burner underneath that pot. And so now it's increasing the level of the temperature of that water. And as you add 5 people to your organization at 5 degrees apiece, that water's still not boiling. It's only up to 25 degrees plus whatever you're shining on it as a sun. But as they build down and they start adding, 10 degrees to their organization, a couple, 2 or 3 here, 10, 20, 30, 50, that water starts getting up to 212 degrees rather quickly. And so once you get that water up, you've got enough people, and you can do this from just one serious person. You got one serious person underneath that, and they build an organization that's big enough, for instance, like this right here. You've got just one person who's building this organization, or in this person, they've got, he's got all 5 of his who are doing a little something, but this guy's only got a little going on. This guy over here is doing big time. You know what I mean? But you can take that, and once that pot of water is boiling, like this guy right over here that I showed that's doing a lot over here, he doesn't really need you anymore. And you can then go around and you can look at the other people that you've sponsored in, because obviously you're not just going to go out and find 5 serious people. You might have to sponsor in 10 or 20 people to find those 5 that are serious. So, but working with one of those serious ones, once they get to a point where they've got the pot boiling and they're off on their own, they don't really need you, you can then turn around and go back to some of those other people that are kind of on the sidelines, that really weren't, didn't get going, but they signed up, they're in, they haven't really done much. But you can, bring it back around to them and say, hey, look, here's what John's been doing. He's got all this going on. He's got all these people going in. That's creating this for so-and-so, and so-and-so's got this going on, and it works all the way up. And that's worked out to where now I'm doing this right here, and this is what you can build. And maybe you can bring some of those sideline people, regenerate that spark inside them to get back into this and become serious. And if not, if you got 5 or 6 people on the sidelines and you go through all those and still doesn't work, maybe the timing's just not right. So you go back and you go out and you find somebody else, and you get a new hot to pick up the pace there. So that's how you kind of keep your motivation going.
Absolutely. Great job, Paul, there. I've been sitting here taking a whole bunch of notes while you're talking, just on ideas that this was sparking in me. I love this whole concept with the thermometer that we showed you. And, you've got to maintain yourself at 50 degrees just to get out there and start introducing it to people, because you want to be enthusiastic, energetic, and excited about what we have here to offer. And the funny thing is, just having this conversation this morning and thinking about and rereading this chapter, and Paul actually got me writing down some goals here as a side note based on what he was talking about here. I'm probably at about 120 degrees right now. But the whole idea about raising your temperature is a nice visualization. And just to quickly go through and add a little bit on here to what Paul was saying is that you've got to realize it's, you start off tepid. You're not super hot. You're getting started in hot, rather. You're not extremely knowledgeable about the business system, and you don't know everything out the gate, but that's okay. You know what? You can just have that confidence knowing that you took the first step, you got signed up, you now have this business platform available to you with all the tools on the website to train and teach you. You've got your upline, you've got Paul, you've got me, you've got the people that are above us, which is exciting, help you with the motivation in the beginning to keep you at that 50 degrees, right? You go out there, you start introducing people, and it's a pay as you learn, or earn while you learn type of a system. You introduce it to people, you don't know exactly what to say, you don't know exactly how to close your prospects, but that's why you fall back on your upline. And as you get your first prospect in, or your first prospect converted, and now you sponsor someone in the business, now you get a couple more degrees added on. And the whole goal here is to build a team and build excitement so that you are at 212 degrees and you're boiling, you're cooking, man. And once you reach that level and you've got your organization established, your motivation level and your belief system, you're always up here now because you've got people in your organization. So you've got that constant motivation. You've got the organization built, so now guess what you get to enjoy every month? You get to enjoy a paycheck. And let me just show you guys something real quick here. I'm going to screen share because this is something else that when you get going in your organization, when you wake up in the morning and you see this email, are you my screen sharing, Paul?
Yep.
What does it say right there? Swiss Gold Global. Congratulations, John. You just got paid. Your Swiss Gold Global commission has been generated to your Easy Wallet. And boom, how many degrees do you think that raises you in the morning? You come here, you click that, and you have an email about 10:14 last night letting me know, hey, you got paid. And that's what this is about, this whole chapter, is staying motivated by going out and doing what the system requires you to do, and that's sponsoring people. But you know what? You've got a team behind you to help keep you motivated. You've got your upline as well as your downline, and that's where the real motivation comes in, when you see the fruits of your labor. And I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about my 2 cents into that chapter, is that just reading it in itself helps to keep you motivated and raise your temperature up.
Well, thank you, John, for sharing the email with us, because that is what this is all about. Wake up in the morning, have a check basically in your mailbox, although this is actually just an email in your email box, but it equals dollars in your savings account. That's awesome, because you know what? I didn't have to do anything for that. I already did it some time ago. You know what I mean? John, when did you do something that created that email? It was probably months ago that generated that you did what is still generating that email that says, hey, John, you just got paid. And you didn't have to do it ever again since. That's what this is all about, guys.
Yes.
That's power is behind this. That's why you need this. John can now go to work, you know, but he doesn't have a job like you guys do. But if he did, he could now get up, go to work. He's already made money. He hasn't even left the house yet. He's already made money, and he can go to work, do his regular job, come home, spend a couple hours working on making a little bit more money, so that email gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the next thing you know what happens? He gets that email in the morning, and he goes, hey, wait a minute. I don't have to go to work now because I bought back so much of my time. I'm only working 4 days. I'm only working 4 days a week now.
Yeah.
Because I get that email, I don't have to show up on Fridays anymore while everybody else is down there slaving away. You know, because I got enough money to cover the money that I'm making on that day, plus enough money that I can actually go out and enjoy that day. Maybe I can go spend it at the spa, or I could go play golf, or I could hang out at the beach and do nothing all day long. You know, whatever it is that you like to do. Maybe you want to go skiing. Maybe you want to go, you know, whatever it is that you like to do, you actually have both the time and the money to do it. Wow, what a concept. Anyway, with that, O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to never end I might desire. Everybody, will see you back here on Wednesday at 8 a.m. for the...
One thought to quickly throw in there, Paul. It won't take a second. One more thing about that email. When that came in last night at 10 o'clock, you know what I was doing? I was sleeping. I was in bed. So this is literally a business where you're going to get paid while you're sleeping. So with that, we'll see you back here Wednesday.
All right, everybody.